ask you something. Have you ever felt like you were doing everything right in dating, being kind, patient, available, and emotionally open, yet still ending up unsure about where you stand? This topic matters because many people believe attraction grows when you give more effort, explain yourself better, and prove your value. But very often that belief leads to emotional exhaustion and confusion. By listening until the end, you will not only improve your English listening and understanding, you will also learn a powerful life lesson about self-respect, emotional balance, and healthy connection. This episode is not about playing games or acting cold. It is about understanding why overgiving quietly reduces attraction and how changing the way you treat yourself changes how others respond to you. When this shift happens, dating becomes calmer, clearer, and far less painful emotionally for you. And if this lesson gave you something useful, I'd love it if you tapped like and subscribe to the channel. It helps you stay connected, and it also helps this little learning community grow. Every click really does make a difference. With love. Let's dive in. Why does overgiving create one-sided dynamics? Overgiving usually starts with good intentions. You care, you feel hopeful, and you want the connection to grow, so you give more time, more attention, and more emotional energy. But when one person gives much more than the other, balance slowly disappears. Many people confuse effort with connection, but connection requires movement from both sides. When you are always texting first, always explaining your feelings, and always adjusting your needs, the relationship becomes uneven. One person carries the emotional weight, while the other stays comfortable and passive. This does not build closeness, it builds imbalance. Being chosen does not come from working harder alone. It comes from mutual effort and shared interest. When effort is equal, the connection feels calm and natural. When it is not, it feels heavy, draining, and emotionally uncertain over time. How does constant availability reduce attraction? Attraction needs a little space to grow naturally and comfortably. When you are always available, always replying quickly, and always ready to give attention, curiosity slowly fades. There's no pause, no anticipation, and no room for the other person to step forward emotionally. When one person does all the pursuing, the other never needs to show interest through action. Letting space exist is not manipulation or a game. It is clarity. Space allows you to see what someone chooses to do without pressure or reminders. When someone is interested, they naturally move toward you. Without space, you may hear kind words, but you do not see consistent effort. Healthy distance creates room for truth. It helps you understand who genuinely wants connection and who simply enjoys attention without real commitment. Why do boundaries increase respect instead of pushing people away? Boundaries are often misunderstood as rejection, but they are actually a clear sign of self-respect. Boundaries are not walls meant to block people out. They are filters that protect your time, energy, and emotional health. When you say no, slow the pace, or limit emotional closeness early, you are not being difficult or cold. You are communicating that your needs matter. The right people feel safe with boundaries because they respect you. The wrong people feel uncomfortable and often disappear. That is not a loss, it is clarity. When someone respects your boundaries, trust grows naturally and calmly. When they ignore them, attraction fades for a good reason. Boundaries prevent emotional burnout and protect you from over-investing in people who are not showing equal care or effort. Why doesn't explaining your worth make someone value you more? The moment you feel the need to explain your worth, the dynamic is already unbalanced. Value is not created by long messages, patience, or emotional labor. It is felt through alignment and consistent behavior. Real attraction does not need convincing or justification. When someone is interested, they show it clearly through actions. When they are unsure, no amount of explaining will change that. Trying harder often creates pressure instead of closeness. It can place you in a position of seeking approval rather than mutual connection. Letting go of the need to convince is freeing. It allows you to observe behavior calmly instead of chasing reassurance. The right person does not need reminders of your value. They respond naturally, clearly, and with respect, without being pushed, persuaded, or emotionally carried. Why does consistency matter more than chemistry? Chemistry can feel exciting, fast, and intense at the beginning. It creates sparks, butterflies, and emotional highs that feel powerful. But intensity is not the same as stability. Consistency shows up quietly through actions repeated over time. It is steady communication, follow-through, and emotional safety. Chemistry may pull you in quickly, but consistency builds trust slowly. Patterns reveal the truth. Someone who is warm one day and distant the next creates anxiety and confusion. Someone who shows up consistently creates calm and security. Attraction grows best in emotional safety, not emotional chaos. When you value consistency more than excitement, you stop chasing dramatic beginnings and start choosing healthier connections. Chemistry may open the door, but consistency decides whether a relationship can truly grow, deepen, and last in a stable way. What does being high value really mean in dating? Being high value is often misunderstood in modern dating. It is not about looks, money, status, or perfection. It is about how you treat yourself when no one is watching. High value means knowing your standards and honoring them quietly. It means you do not abandon your needs just to keep someone interested. It means you do not accept disrespect to avoid being alone. Walking away calmly without anger, drama, or long explanations is strength. You do not need to announce your value or prove it. It is shown through your choices. When you protect your time, emotions, and energy, others feel that stability. The way you treat yourself sets the emotional tone for how others treat you in return, whether they stay or leave. Why is this a mindset shift, not a list of dating rules? Many dating messages focus on rules, timing, and strategies, but real change does not come from memorizing rules. It comes from changing how you see yourself in relationships. This shift is about stopping the habit of shrinking, rushing, and doing emotional labor for people who have not earned it. You do not need tricks to appear valuable. You need alignment with yourself. When your mindset changes, your behavior changes naturally. You stop chasing attention. You stop over-explaining your feelings. You stop settling for unclear energy. Dating becomes calmer because you are no longer trying to prove yourself or force connection. This mindset creates peace instead of pressure and clarity instead of confusion. It helps you stay grounded and emotionally steady while dating. How does pacing protect your emotional health? Pacing allows emotions to develop naturally and safely over time. When things move too fast, clarity often disappears. You may confuse excitement with compatibility and ignore important signals. Slowing down helps you observe behavior instead of reacting emotionally. You notice how someone communicates, how consistent they are, and how they respond when things are not perfect. Emotional pacing keeps you connected to your own feelings. You feel less anxious and more grounded in yourself. You are able to listen to your instincts instead of ignoring them. Healthy pacing creates emotional safety. It allows trust to grow slowly and honestly, instead of being rushed by fear of losing someone or missing an opportunity that feels urgent but unclear. Why is mutual effort the clearest sign of real interest? Mutual effort feels balanced, calm, and natural. Both people reach out, show curiosity, and invest emotional energy without pressure. There is no constant guessing or chasing. When effort flows both ways, you feel secure instead of uncertain. One-sided effort creates stress, self-doubt, and emotional exhaustion over time. Mutual effort creates ease. It allows attraction to grow without anxiety or fear. When someone is genuinely interested, they do not make you work for basic attention. They meet you halfway with consistency and clarity. Mutual effort does not feel dramatic or intense. It feels steady, respectful, and reliable. And most importantly, it leaves very little confusion about where you stand emotionally in the connection. How does self-respect change your dating experiences over time? Self-respect changes what you tolerate and what you walk away from. You stop accepting mixed signals, excuses, and unclear intentions. You begin trusting actions more than words. This shift naturally filters people out of your life. Some will rise to meet you with respect and consistency. Others will disappear when they realize you will not overgive or chase. Both outcomes protect you emotionally. When you respect yourself, dating becomes less confusing and less draining. You trust your standards and your decisions. Self-respect creates emotional stability and quiet confidence, and that confidence improves the quality of every connection you allow into your life over time. Why does letting go often bring the clarity you need? Letting go removes pressure from the connection. When you stop forcing closeness, truth becomes easier to see. People reveal who they are when they are not being chased, reminded, or emotionally carried. Letting go allows you to observe instead of control. Clarity comes from watching behavior over time, not from asking for reassurance. This process brings calm because you are no longer fighting uncertainty. You begin choosing based on reality instead of hope. Letting go is not giving up or losing power. It is allowing honesty to surface, both from others and from yourself, without fear or emotional struggle. How does emotional balance make you more attractive naturally? Emotional balance means you are interested but not consumed by someone. You are present but not anxious, open but not over-attached. This balance feels grounded and emotionally safe. People are naturally drawn to calm confidence. Emotional balance allows connection to grow without pressure or fear. You remain connected to yourself while getting to know someone else. This creates attraction that feels steady instead of stressful. Emotional balance protects your peace and helps dating feel lighter, clearer, and more enjoyable. Instead of emotional highs and lows, you experience steadiness. That steadiness builds trust, confidence, and a deeper form of attraction over time. What changes when you stop over-efforting in dating? When you stop over-efforting, you regain energy, clarity, and self-trust. Dating stops feeling like a performance or emotional work. You observe instead of chase. You listen instead of explain. You choose instead of convince. This shift brings dignity back into connection. You feel calmer because you are no longer trying to earn attention or approval. You allow people to show you who they are through actions. Over time, this creates healthier, more balanced relationships. It also protects your emotional well-being and helps you stay aligned with your values instead of losing yourself to keep someone close. What happens when you stop trying to control how someone feels about you? When you stop trying to control how someone feels about you, something powerful begins to shift inside you. You stop overthinking every message, every pause, and every small change in tone. Instead of constantly adjusting your behavior to be liked, you start showing up as yourself, calmly and honestly. This change reduces anxiety because you are no longer chasing someone's approval. You are simply observing their actions. You begin to notice who moves toward you naturally and who pulls away when the pressure is gone. This creates emotional freedom. You feel lighter, more confident, and more connected to your real needs. When you stop controlling the outcome, you stop performing. You let the truth reveal itself, and that truth becomes your protection. The people who stay are the ones who genuinely choose you without being pushed or impressed into doing so. Why does self-respect always win in the end? You do not need to be chased to be chosen, but you do need to stop chasing to see who is willing to choose you. When you lead with self-respect, dating becomes clearer, calmer, and more honest. You attract healthier connections and avoid emotional exhaustion. You stop confusing effort with value. You learn to trust behavior instead of promises. And if this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs this reminder. And remember, self-respect is always more attractive than over-effort. This is true not only in dating, but also in friendships, work, and life as a whole. With love. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait to continue this journey with you.